got the baby settled and I got him to sleep, and we are gonna finish doing what we were initially doing in the kitchen. So just give me 1 second. So hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Can you put on the Michael? Can you put on the light, please? So if you all would have tuned in to part 1, we would have prepped our items to go into the oven. So I prepped bread. So I did 4 loaves of bread, and I also cleaned and seasoned some chicken. I made some seasoning as well. I also, on the next hand, have to cook. So I'm making a veggie pilau today. So let's get started on that. I'm going to take my kettle and I'm going to put some water in it to heat it up so that we have hot water for when we start to cook. Let me just set up my gift goal. Y'all, I love when y'all give me gifts, guys. Right? So that's what we're doing. Hi and welcome. We are actually, this is part 2 of our live from earlier on. Earlier on, what we did is we needed flour for bread. We also cleaned some leg quarters and made some seasoning. Now I have my oven turned on and I'm waiting for my oven to go off or get to the recommended temperature in order for us to start baking those items. So in the meantime, I am going to get the chicken from the freezer and I'm going to lay it out into the tray because it isn't in the tray as yet. I just had it marinating in a bowl. So we're going to be doing some baked leg quarters today, right? So I'm going to get that chicken to put it into the trays, and I'm going to come back and show you guys how we do that, right? So, hi, terrific. What's up? CJ, hi. Hi. Okay, you were the first like. I love that. So this is actually part 2 because we were live earlier on. However, the baby was a little more on the fussy side this evening. So I had, well, this morning I should say. So I went to give him a little bit of love and extra attention, and we are back now. So essentially what I did is I prepped this morning. I didn't cook or bake anything. All I did was prep, which means all I did was put need flour for bread, and I'm making 1 set of bread today, and then I also cleaned some leg quarters and I made seasoning to season some stuff. You have a good way of explaining stuff. Thank you, Chris. And you can be a great teacher. So let me just finish what I'm saying and I'll get back to that statement, right? So this is my chicken that is seasoned. You should start a cooking journey teaching, please do. So while I'm putting the chicken into the tray, because I do have a tray here, right? Let me give you a little bit of a backstory. During the time, first of all, I went to university. So when I finished secondary school in Trinidad, because we call it secondary school here, yes, CJ, I went to the University of Trinidad and Tobago. at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, I did a certificate in sports studies first and foremost, and then that was a 1 year program, right? And then I went on to do then I went on to do, after the 1 year, I enrolled in the bachelor's program. So in the bachelor's program, we covered a lot of different sporting disciplines and learning how to teach them, from volleyball to tennis to hockey. What else? We did swimming, right? So those are cricket. We did some of those sports there. So learning how to we learned the sport and learned how to teach the sport, right? And that was basically a 4 year degree, right? So when I did that 4 year degree, with that degree, love you, mom, love you too, CJ, love that you're here. So when I did that 4 year degree now, during that time, we did have to teach. Oh, whoa, you are well educated woman, thank you. We had to then, when we learn the sport and learn how to teach it, learn the fundamentals, the basics, not too in depth, but learning the fundamentals and the basics of how to teach the sport, we then had to come and do different presentations where we had to rotate amongst ourselves, amongst my peers, amongst my classmates, of how to teach the sport, and they had to become teachable and we had to become the teacher. So it had to be where we took turns in doing so, right? Also, throughout that program, we did volunteer for a lot of things, a lot of events, a lot of sporting events, and we had to play the roles. So let's say for swimming, we had to play the roles of timers, taking score, and all of these things. So I do have some teaching background. Hi Burton, thank you, love that you're a new subscriber. So that my degree essentially allows me to teach, I would say, children ages 3 to about 10 or 12, right? And I did not do the teaching part because, hi Christopher Laborde, hi my love, how are you? So essentially, yes, because you explained so well, I learn a lot from you with cooking, trust me. Well, that is great to know. Then what I'm doing here is serving my purpose, I guess. I have a soup for you. Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm getting a soup. Mom, you are my inspiration. How am I your inspiration? So I have something planned out to show you guys too, because my husband dropped some stuff earlier on for me. But you all are asking a lot of questions, and I love that. I'm happy you're building this channel. Very nice. This was not an easy journey, I could tell you that. I had a lot of highs and lows, and you know, later for it. Okay, my love. And we had a lot of experience in terms of teaching different aspects. So like basically with my degree, I could teach children, and there were specifics where you could get into, I would say, you know, there was specializations. I didn't specialize in the teaching aspect, but because the fundamentals of the program is to really teach, right, and be able to explain stuff, then you automatically fall into that category of being able to teach at primary schools in Trinidad, right, starting under an OJT, which is an on-the-job training, right? In terms of placement, it takes a really long time for placement to happen, right? I would say that's the downfall unless you're well connected. And with that now, my specialization was different. So I didn't specialize in teaching, but I specialized in sports science and sport for development. So I still had to, with sport for development, is coming up with plans, coming up with strategies in order to bring it to a community base and develop a sporting program to develop or help develop a community. So that is essentially what I did. In terms of the sports science background is learning different ways to heal sporting injuries. But in terms of that specialization, you had to then move on to like other universities in different parts of the world and in the Caribbean to specialize in like massaging and different sporting massages for injuries, and getting really in specifics, as well as strength and conditioning of athletes and stuff. So I did not move on to doing an additional degree. My last year is when I had just given birth to my son, my first son. So I did not move on to further develop that. However, I do have the knowledge or the ability or the skill, I should say, to explain things for persons to understand effectively. So also during the time of lockdown of the world, I taught at a private school online, which is basically the same school that my son goes to. Mom, your way of thinking and talking and your skills are my inspiration and my way of the way. Thank you for your subscribe. Thank you for your subscriber. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for being my subscriber or being one of my subscribers, CJ. It's greatly appreciated. And I'm doing all of this and I'm waiting for my oven to go off. Oops, my gas is finished. Let me just change the gas down pretty quick. Right, nice. So we're back in business. Yeah. So let me read. Yes, Cherise, your channel will be great. Thank you. Thank you. So I taught at a private school with my son, and I also had that experience with schools not being open. What happened is that I had to do a lot of homeschooling with my first son when he was at that stage, and it also helps me to gain experience with teaching children of that age, right? And I taught at his school, and well, that was online. I taught at his school online, and also I created books along that journey. Based on the resources that I had around me, I formulated children or preschool books that would be helpful based on my child's learning ability. And to be quite honest, his principal ended up using those same books at her school, and she had parents purchase the books online through me. So my books were actually on Amazon KDP, and then it got taken down for a few reasons that I prefer not to really speak about. And now, however, I do have my books on PayHip. So if there are persons who are interested in purchasing the digital copy of my books, they are available on PayHip, and you can check out the link You could check out the link in my about section on YouTube, and you're gonna see the PayHip link, and it's very affordable. Oh, that would be so nice, Chris. And they are digital books right now until I find a source to be able to that is similarly to Amazon KDP, where it can print on demand for persons who want to purchase the book. I'm still looking for somewhere that is similar or has that similar feature like Amazon KDP, right? But all of my preschool books are there. There are coloring books there, so I use those things to teach my son. And after that, now with that experience, what I started doing is I started taking private children to work with outside of school. So persons that or children that needed additional help in areas like where the foundation is concerned. I like to work with the foundation of building a child. So I will really give you or teach your children the basics. Now I do have a page called CA Educational Resources on YouTube. I have not been very active on it. There is a lot of active crafts that I did during that time that I have posted to the page. And but right now I usually take candidates or children to work one-on-one with. When you all don't see me on YouTube, I am teaching online or teaching sometimes on weekends, more the Sunday, for like 1 to 2 hours, helping children build, their foundation. So if a parent comes to me and says, okay, I need my child to get help in spelling, in vocabulary, I'll ask questions like, does your child know how to sound words? I'm not saying know how to spell words, but does your child know how to sound words? And if they have an issue with sounding letters, then it's going to be difficult for them to read and spell. So I teach the Jolly Phonics method way. I don't teach, when a child comes to me, I don't teach them ABC. They will learn ABC, yes, but I tend to teach more on the basis of SATPIN, which is the Jolly Phonics method, which teaches a child to spell and sound letters, therefore they will read faster, right? So those are my methods, and I created books along that guideline of Jolly Phonics method that works for me and my child or my children, because now I'm in the process of starting to homeschool my daughter, right? And I'm going to use those same resources because my son is very brilliant in school. As a matter of fact, he was out of school for an entire year last year while I was pregnant, and he went back to school in September of this year, and he brought home a lot of good grades. This term he actually got a B, and he's in the process of basically preparing for, or his school has started preparing them for SEA at Standard 3. So I've also had another child that got an ungraded and had to repeat first year, which is basically like a preschool level in Trinidad, and I brought that child from an ungraded, which is lower than an F and an R, which means remedial, to a B this term. So that is my foundation when it comes to teaching, or that's my background when it comes to teaching. So sometimes I think to myself that I over explain things, and then I have to remind myself that I am on a platform where the over explaining helps. Ma'am, please read messages. Ma'am, what time is it right now? So right now it's 2:05 p.m. My apologies. So sometimes I think to myself that I'm over explaining things, but I have to remind myself that on this platform, persons are coming not only for entertainment but for learning purposes. So then it kind of solidifies and help with, okay, the over explaining sometimes is necessary. So that's a little background on my teaching. Let me know what you guys think, right? But yes, I still do teach. I actually have someone that reached out to me to teach a special needs child, but I have to do some research on the special needs teaching methods to ensure that the teaching method that I choose will be effective. So when I take persons, I don't blindly take persons. I really first and foremost go and pray about it, and then secondly, my husband and I, we will talk about it based on what I have to do, because I do have a packed schedule and I don't want to sell, or I don't want to come up short when it comes to teaching a foundational learner, because it's what's going to carry them throughout the entire educational process, if that makes sense. So let me know, 11:42 p.m. here. Where are you from, CJ? Or where are you located that is the time where you are right now? So my oven has started heating up, right? So my chicken is in the tray, and I'm gonna bring the bread to show you guys, because normally what I would do is I would bake bread and then put the chicken in, but I'm not doing two sets of bread today, so therefore the bread and the chicken can go in the oven same time. Any guess, ma'am? No, I don't have any guesses, because I'm not too familiar with a lot of countries in terms of the time zone, so that's why I'm asking. So my oven just beeped off, so I'm gonna put my chicken into the oven, and then I'm gonna bring the bread and show you guys how nice they have risen before we put them into the oven. So this is our first bread, right? Let me put it into the oven one second. Because I don't want it to flop. These are 2 more loaves, and we did 4 loaves today. And this is our 4th loaf. I do have to set a 20 minutes timer. So let me just get something to set that timer on, and I'm gonna come back by you guys. Good, so we have another device here. So I'm just gonna set that 20 minutes. Oh man, I have my watch right here, guys. Oh my gosh, I forgot. I have my watch, I could just set the time on. I'm gonna set a 20 minutes timer. So our timer has been set. Hi CJ, so tell me, let's interact. Where are you from? Because I am from Trinidad. You could tell me where you're from. All right, so I have to start my pot. Hi, thank you so very much. I have to start my pot because while the baby is sleeping, I'm going to try to get as much things done as possible, right? I have to put up some water to hot because I am going to need hot water. I'm making a veggie pilau today. So I'm just putting my kettle, filling my kettle with water. Nice. So I'm going to put this to heat up. Knock a pot. Yes, Chris, we're going to knock a pot. Knock a pot. Yeah. So I am going to cheat, and CJ, you are in India. I was now going to say I'm going to cheat and go and research with what time is it, or what's where's 11:42. But Chris beat me to it. I'm still gonna double check. Yeah, definitely about India. Right, let me get my big pots. You all know I love to knock up pots. So let's get it. And I got that I got that slang or saying from my husband. He was talking the other day and he's like, you know, we Trinidadians like to knock our pots after we turn the pot, we like to knock our pots. Big respect to you and your family always. Thanks, Chris, always. It's a pleasure to always have you here and, supporting me all the time. Now, I love to cook in pots this size and bigger. I love to cook in these big pots when I'm making like a lot of food, so like soup and Pelau and stuff. I love to use these big pots. On the other hand, sometimes I like to use really tiny pots. Like really tiny pots, but I do have to get some new pots. I'm excited to get some new pots. But in the meantime, this is actually the first pot that I started making soup in. When I started making soup to sell, this was actually the pot that I used to use to sell my soup. So there's that backstory too. I know I would have told that story already, but I know we have some new subscribers here, so I'm not sure if everybody knows how we came to selling soup. So I'm just making space onto my stove in order to put this big pot. Because I do have to clear up my kitchen. I had a lot of things going on this morning with the baby and so normally when I'm cooking I would cook and wash up, or when I do something I'd wash up one time, but I did not have the luxury of doing that today, so I do have a lot of cleaning up to do. Alright, so I'm gonna take my pot by the stove here. And in the meantime, we're gonna get everything ready for a pot. So I do have a tin of peas and carrots here. I'm gonna open it up because we do need to wait for our pot to become very, very hot. When it comes to when it comes to making a pilau, your pot needs to be really hot. I will be in and out the chat. I'm driving. Thank you so very much for always being here on, I think it's most of my lives. So that's okay, I understand. Right? So like I said, I'm just trying to do things while the baby sleeps. This is going to help me over the weekend, because over the weekend I do have some appointments, and as you all know, or for those of you who don't know and are new here, this Saturday is my Sabbath, so I don't usually go live on Saturdays unless I am getting ready to like go to church. So you're not gonna see me live very often on Saturdays. And on Sunday I do have some things to do. I have some appointments. If my clients are going to be comfortable with being live, you all will get to see what my house calls look like, because I'm not going to be doing them in studio. I'm actually going to be visiting them to get their makeup done. It's a holiday season, so there are persons booking makeup here in and out. So some come to the studio, some ask me to come to them. So yeah, let me just go drain the water from this can. You know what I forgot to update you all with too? I actually got more fig leaf or banana leaves, because I am going to be making pasta really soon. So that's probably going to be like a whole day live, because when I make pasta, it's about 7-8 hours it takes me to make pasta. Because when I'm making pasta, I don't just make 1 dozen pasta. I tend to make like 4 dozens of pasta and stuff. So I do have some fig leaf to burn. I do have a lot of things to do at home, so we'll see how much we get done while the baby sleeps, guys. So I was just drying my pot spoon. Hi June Beats, how are you? It's good to have you here. We're just preparing stuff to make a veggie pilau, right? Or some persons like to call it rice and peas because it doesn't have meat in it. But I just prefer to eat my chicken out of my pilau. I do have to do that recipe for you guys though, where I cook the chicken inside the pilau. But for now, I am making the chicken. Well, I have chicken in the fridge already, so I don't need to make chicken today. Outside of the baked chicken that I'm doing for my husband. My table is pretty crowded today. So I do want to kind of clear up, but the clearing up is like one of the easy things to do. Clearing up isn't difficult at all, but actually making sure that I get to do all what I'm supposed to do, yeah, that's the challenging part that we have to work with. So while the baby sleeps, we work. We're still in the process of learning him and learning the method that works for him in terms of his sleep patterns, and so we can formulate things around him. So we are actually trying, my husband and I, we are trying to really do things while he's awake, and you all will see me live sometimes while he's awake, but sometimes if he's a little bit extra fussy and needing of that love and attention, then I would tend to go back and go and do what I have to do, spend some time with him and stuff. So I'm gonna wash my rice because this rice is feeling a bit powdery, so I want to wash it off. Washing your rice tends to remove any impurities that would be in your rice. You also have a pack of coconut milk powder that we're gonna use as well. So I'm just preparing that. 1 second, guys. So we have our pot heating up behind us. No, I wanted to check in. Alright, so our pot is here. Right, our pot is here. It's hot. It's very hot. So you're gonna put some oil in here. Let that oil heat up. I do have to get a cup to put my coconut milk powder in. So I'm gonna pour 1 entire pack of coconut milk powder into this cup here. And then I'm just gonna fill up the cup with water. Just gonna give that a good mix to make sure that it's melted down really well. Nice. Now I'm going to put in some brown sugar into this pot. He's up. Alright, stay with him now. Don't have him standing up too long, eh? And I'm gonna put in this sugar in here. I just use like one of these pot spoons and a little tip because I like my my pilau to be a nice golden brown. The baby just took like a 39-minute nap because when he went to sleep is when I started this live and he's awake. So let's see if we can get to put up this pot, and my big son is with him, so that will keep him occupied. I do have another pot on the side here that has boiling water in it, so I'm gonna also peel a sweet potato to put in there so my husband will have sweet potato to eat with his food. We have a really beautiful sweet potato. So I'm going to put that in the pot on the side here, and that's going to boil. I'm waiting for this to start to get caramelized. So the sugar has now started melting down, and this is essentially what we're waiting for. When it has started to become caramelized, that is when you want to start putting your stuff in there, because that is going to be the ideal color that your rice is going to become. Okay, my oven is still on and doing its thing, which is what we want. I have my rice washed already. I have my tin of peas and carrots opened out already. The only thing I don't have is pumpkin, and that's fine. It can do without it this time around. And we also have our seasoning that we made. So I did do some seasoning in my mini chopper today, and not in the blender like I would usually do. And so I like to have my kitchen clean, especially for the Sabbath. So I do have a lot of cleaning up to do. A lot, guys. But good thing I have children to help me, you know. So our sugar has started to caramelize. So I'll show you guys. You all could see that it's floating and melting down. That's exactly what we want. So as soon as it starts getting dark, almost looking like it's black, that is when you're gonna put your stuff in. Right? So we're just waiting for that. I'm gonna just sort of turn to help it melt down faster. Okay, so my timer just went off. But our bread isn't ready as yet. So I'm gonna reset it. At this point you have to be really careful when you're putting stuff in, especially things that has like water. With the oil, it can splash up on you, so this is something that you need to do very, very quickly. So I'm just mixing that around, and it has started frothing a lot. And as I stir, it's gonna get darker. Look at that. I'm gonna throw in, because it's a veggie, I'm gonna throw in the rice first. Normally at this stage you're gonna throw in the chicken, but I'm not doing chicken, I'm doing a veggie. So you're gonna pour that rice in there. We're gonna stir the rice, because the rice is what we need with the color. Right, and let me show you guys what our rice is looking like. So this is the color of our rice. The rice has not started cooking as yet. We just stir it in for it to get the color. Knock a pot crisp. And then we're gonna pour in our peas and carrots. With some salt, of course. I'm going to mix that. I'm going to pour in my coconut milk powder. Don't try that at home, guys. Get something to hold that cup with. Don't try that at home. Right? And we're going to mix that in. I'm going to put some green seasoning in there. Some homemade green seasoning, guys. Love to knock a pot. Alright, so we have some green seasoning here. Alright, so this I'm just going to allow this to cook for a little bit before I add in any additional water. And I do have a little haul for you guys. Alright. Knock our pots. Right? So let me just clear down my space here, and then I will do the hole that we've got. Right? Add some rice remaining in my bowl here, so I just add a little bit of water so that the rice will be able to come out. Good, Good. So I'm just clearing up my space, guys, so that I can do this haul with you guys. I'm excited. Alright, so we're gonna let that cook for a bit. Our bread is not finished yet. I will check on it though. It has started to get that beautiful brown color, but it's not quite brown as yet. So we do have a little hole. So for those of you who don't know, who weren't on the live yesterday, I recently started the gym, right? And my husband and I, we are training with the same trainer. However, we just go at different times because we take care of our children ourselves, as in, you know, we live alone, we don't live with extended family, and they live like a good distance away, which is going to take us a really long time to get to them. We are currently interchanging the times that we go to the gym. So there are 2 sessions. My husband usually goes during the morning time, and then, you know, he would go to work, and then I will go during the night time and when my husband is home from work. So we did have to get some vitamins, some additional vitamins. So he purchased that and brought it home to me early on. I know you'll love to see my husband riding the motorbike because my chat was going wild the last time that he came home with the motorbike. But I was taking care of the baby when he came home. So we have an immune booster, right? This is our first product. Then we have D3. So I already have started taking D3. This was a top up. We also got vitamin K2, which supports bone health. So we got this. In addition to these 3 items, we are also taking calcium, magnesium glycinate, and also an emergency immune booster. So these are the things that we take to help with our health. I am in no way advising anyone to take this. This is just what works for us, right? We would have done our extensive research together with advisement from our trainer and stuff. So you'll have to do your own research to know what works for you guys, right? But this is some of the items that we take, both my husband and myself, right? And ding 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 ding, I know I said I have my skin. Someone asked me when I was doing makeup the other day, what do I do for my skin, or what are some of the products that I apply to my skin. So we did have to do a haul, and my husband went to get it while he was at work. So we have a Pennywise haul. And for those of my subscribers who are from Trinidad, you'll know Pennywise. Listen, when you're walking thinking you're going for one thing, you end up with 5 things or more. I just added in my kettle of water here. Good. So let's get into those items, guys. 1 second. Right, guys, so we have our items here that is gonna be my face, my skincare routine. So someone asked me, with me doing all of the makeup and stuff that I do, what are some of the things that I put on my face, right? So all of these products here is from a brand called Joy in Trinidad, right? And first we have the kojic acid face wash. So this is what it looks like. I will do a skincare routine with you guys possibly sometime later tonight. So the kojic acid face wash is ideal for skin brightening and spot reduction. Now something to note is that my skin type is combination. So I have a very oily T-zone, which is the forehead, the nose, and like this area on the side of the nose, and then the rest of my face, like my cheeks and stuff, are dry. So I have combination skin. So everything I use is based on my research that is ideal for my skin type, right? So first we have again the kojic acid. This is our face wash, right? And it does have niacinamide and vitamin C in it, which helps fade pigmentation and reduces dark spots on the skin, because I do tend to experience a little acne here and there when my T-zone area is clogged, right? That's one. So our number 2 is our face toner, and again this is from Joy. This is their green tea clarifying and pore minimizing face toner. So sometimes I do experience huge pores when my pores are open up, especially in this part of my face and below here, which tends to make me break out from time to time, especially when I'm wearing a lot of makeup. Hi Nasia. So this aloe vera and basil, because it's aloe vera, which is green tea essentially, soothes. It helps with soothing. It has vitamin B5, hyaluronic complexes, and this is for all skin types, but the combination is going to work really well together, right? Good. Our next product is, we have, let me see which one to show you guys first. We have another kojic acid, but this is a serum. I'm just going to open the packaging to show you guys what the bottle looks like. It is a glass bottle, and it's a beautiful bottle. Look at it. But this is definitely only to be used at night. It is a dark spot corrector, right? It has 1.5% kojic in it with niacinamide and vitamin C. So it's a 30 ml bottle as well. Let me see what else. This is to really only be applied at night, guys. This one especially. Then we have the glow revealing ABHA plus BHA. This one is ideal for during the daytime as well, and sometimes at night, but they cannot work together. You cannot put this together, right? You will peel your skin, and you don't want to do that, right? It does have salicylic acid in it, right? It is for renewed skin. Then we have the snail mucin, which is for smooth glass skin finish. And this one could be used during the day. So this is what this bottle looks like. This bottle is really nice. It's very thick. So I am going to share with you guys my face routine. I'm going to do that with you guys. Not right now, because we're cooking. And then we have the Joy Hydra Restore Boost Gel. And if you are a person with combination skin, using a gel is going to be ideal for your skin type. Not all the time the cream is going to work for you. And this bottle, oh my gosh, guys, look at this bottle. She's beautiful, right? It does have like a little, look at that. So this is gonna be my moisturizer for my face, right? It comes in a very cute packaging, look at it, and it's pink. Y'all know I love pink. Y'all know our girl loves pink. So that's my skincare routine products there. I'm gonna come back probably later and show you guys what or how we apply these products, but I just wanted to show you guys the whole, oopsie, I just want to show you guys the whole so I can put away the bottle because our bread is ready to come out of the oven. Alright, so I'm going to take the bread, I'm going to get my tray to put it here, and I'm going to take the bread out of the oven. Alright, so we have our little tray there. Time to take out the bread out of the oven, guys. Alright, so we have bread number 1. That's bread number 1. We have bread number 2. We did do 4 loaves of bread. Bread number 3. And bread number 4. So we have 4 loaves of bread baked for the weekend. And we're just gonna paste this with some butter or margarine on the top, and we're just gonna cover it down with a damp cloth just to soften the top of the bread. So we have our cloth here that is damp, and I'm just gonna cover the bread, allow it to set, and our bread is finished. Our chicken does have a little while in the oven. I think I will post a picture of it in the community section of my page. I want to just check the Pelau. I'm going to show you guys what my Pelau / rice and peas is looking like. Right, you see it does have a nice brown color. I am going to put a piece of French made / cooking butter. This is salted butter into that Pelau. Right there. Nice. And we do need to add another set of water and let that cook down. When you add water, you do need sometimes to add salt. Our timer is finished. I'm gonna set another 20 minutes because I have my chicken that is cooking and doing its thing. So guys, that's it for this one. I will post a picture of our Pelau slash rice and peas um, in my community section of my page when it is finished, as well as I am going to post a picture of our baked chicken when it's finished, right? And that's it, guys. So thank you all, for those of you who tune in. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate you all coming in and interacting with me, and always interacting with my content. It is greatly appreciated. I do have my skincare routine to show you guys a little later on tonight. Possibly after I come from the gym, I will show you guys that. And I'm gonna go take care of the baby right now, guys, while we wait for stuff to finish on the stove and in the kitchen, right? So I just want to say a hearty thank you once again. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.